What's up, folks? Welcome to Jim Drinks. I am Jim. Today we're going to be diving into episode 2 of our 24-part blind tasting series. This is going to be 4 completely blind spirits. I have no idea what these are. It could be really amazing stuff. It could be really old stuff. It could be really expensive stuff. Or it could be the cheapest stuff on the shelf. Episode 1 was a lot of big surprises for me. So I think episode 2 probably will also be some surprising things. I mean, it's a blind tasting. There's going to be surprises involved regardless, right? So, let's dive in. So first up today, we're going to pick the bottles. See here, maybe I can get this on camera a little bit. It's just a bunch of black bottles. I can't see what any of these are. The numbers are on the bottom. And that's intentional. The only 4 that are in here that I can see are the ones that are finished. I turn those upside down so I can tell there's no reason for me to pick those. So these are the bottles that I'm picking out of. All of these are like this. They're all labeled on the bottom. I'm not going to look at what's on the bottom. I'm not going to show you what's on the bottom. It's going to be a complete mystery until we get through the ranking, until we can put all 4 of these in 1, 2, 3, 4 order, and then we're going to find out what they are, and that's kind of when the big surprises typically happen. So I'm going to go top row. We're going to pick 1 from top row. That's going to be our A bottle. We'll go next to, I don't know, middle of the pack. We'll go B. We'll go far left this time. That'll be C. And then let's go this kind of no man's land here. If you've never done a blind tasting with any of your whiskeys or anything like that, they're a ton of fun. They're not hard to do. Get a Glencairn. You can write a letter on the bottom. A, B, C, D. You can do A, B. You can just do 2 at a time, right? And then pour whatever you're going to pour into those 2 Glencairns, or glasses, whatever. They don't have to be anything specific. It just has to be the same glass, so you can't look at it and go, oh, that's the glass that I poured the whatever in. And this is the glass that I poured the hubba in. And you mix them around until you've kind of lost track of what's what. And then you smell them, taste them, all the normal process. I definitely recommend some notepad, so you can, kind of write down what you're tasting through, because you're also drinking, right? So you might forget a little bit about that. Maybe with experience, we'll see as this series progresses. It's been difficult for me to get through 4 and remember the specific notes for every single thing that I've tasted. Here we go. I'm going to pour. Now, I'm intentionally not going to look at the indicator, the letter on the bottom of this. When I pour this in, I'm just going to pour it. So anyways, enough of the shenanigans. Let's dive in. We're going to start with A. First, we're going to do a little bit of a smell. Oh, got a floral note right away. Anytime I do taste a whiskey for the first time, for me personally, the thing that I have the hardest time with is the nose. For whatever reason, blind tasting things, I don't have that issue. I can blind taste things and smell them pretty well, I think. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some, maybe my visual processing of whatever I'm looking at and all this is kind of overwhelming my sense of smell. I don't know if that's a thing. That's just my completely harebrained theory. Ooh, definitely got some proof on it. Oh, yeah, I'm getting maybe it's a citrusy, maybe it's an orange peel. Got a little bit of a funk thing to it. This might be a rye. There's like a rye spice note in there. There's a little bit of I want to say like a swimming pool funk. That sounds terrible, but it's not gag-inducing or anything like that. It's not that strong. It's just like okay. I'm thinking this is a rye. It's got some spice on it. There's definitely kind of, I would say, a floral-ish kind of nose. I think there's also a little bit of orange peel. Let's go into the taste, long last. Anyways, tasting it. Holy shit. Oh. Oh. That was hot. Yowza! Whoa. Okay. Wow. A lot of flavors in that, though. There's definitely a rye spice happening in that. There's also quite a nice, maybe it's lavender. It's like rye spice, lavender. What's that candy note? It's candied sugar of some kind. Good God almighty. That is a mouth-watering, just absolutely floodgate-inducing hot. But it's got a lot of flavor to it. It's not the most complex set of flavors, but there's definitely an evolution. Starts off, the first thing is like fire and candied sugar, and then it moves into a little bit of like a slightly fruity, That's kind of where I get the main hit of that like lavender note that I was talking about. Rye spice, maybe that's it. It's a little bit of like a green apple, and maybe lavender is there too. Yeah, that's a wild one. Buried in the depths of that is that kind of real classic, like bright rye, kind of green apple note. Okay, so that's A. Wow. Hot, enjoyable. What's gonna be a problem for A, a challenge for A, is just the heat. I would love to add a little bit of water to this, but I'm not gonna do that for this. I am gonna sip water in between, but I'm not gonna add water to these. I don't think. I mean, that one would benefit from adding a little bit of water, actually. I'll tell you what. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do part 2 on A. I'm just gonna add a little. I would love to have my dropper out here, but I didn't bring it out. Just a touch of water. Maybe open that up a little bit, and we'll see. Let's try again. I'm going to say for the most part, the nose hasn't changed with the water. Onto the sip. This is with added water. Ooh, that was absolutely the way to go as far as the hot. As far as the heat, that cooled it off a ton. But there is this weird sort of, like more acidic, maybe that's an oak note that has come through now in place of the heat. That does it for A. And we'll come back to that later if I need to. But moving on to B. Let's see what we got on the nose here. Very light. Do I smell anything? Wow. I would almost say there's nothing in this cup. I really don't actually smell. There's a faintest hint of some. I think it's a very distant sweetness. Oh, but maybe there's a little bit of a. God, is that a grassy note? It's 3 rooms away going, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Speak up. Okay, I'm moving on to the palate because there's not much there on the nose. That's still pretty light. It builds in an interesting way. It starts off, it's kind of forgettable. It's like super duper, just not much happening, not much going on. God, this is now terrifying because I'm like, what if this is one that I thought I really liked? I don't think so. This is actually done. This doesn't taste super familiar to me. So I don't feel like this is one maybe that I've had or that I've not had much of. There's a brown sugar. There's how does it taste? Both somewhat proofy, like high 90s, maybe low 100s, maybe. But then also just like watery. I mean, the first one here may have genuinely obliterated my palate. Maybe that's what's happening here in part. That first one being so hot has maybe kind of like, it's maybe done a little bit of that. You know what I mean? I'm going to add water inexplicably here. No, that did nothing. What can I say about this one that hasn't already been said about concrete as it dries in the sun? You know what I mean? It's just kind of there. Here's the interesting thing. I will come back through these as I'm trying to do my ranking. And so maybe by the time that I come back through for the ranking, maybe something will jump up, maybe something will grow. I mean, that's what I'm wanting to happen. For one to be so underwhelming and so just kind of just like, meh, I want it to be able to wake up and surprise me. As far as notes go for that one, I'll say this was gray sky on a Tuesday with maybe a little bit of brown sugar at the end. When we get to the real reveal part of this, I want to go ahead and call out. If you really like whatever that one is, and you want to come at me in the comments and tell me what I'm missing, please do. That's great. Having been a whiskey drinker of some kind for 20 plus years, only very recently have I started paying attention to what I'm drinking, right? Before that, it was, I'll make a cocktail, I'll use a whiskey. I like this whiskey over that whiskey because it tastes better. Very one-dimensional tasting on my part up until now. Now, especially with the blind tasting, you're kind of forced into trying to dissect what you're experiencing. That's fun for me. I don't know if that is fun for you, but whatever B is, if you taste other things in there and you're like, Jim, come on, you're missing all these things. Get it together. What about this? What about this? What about this? I would love it. That would be great because moving on to C, because again, we are breaking from tradition here. Tradition, one episode. That's not a hell of a tradition. I'm going to go through them all, write down some notes, and then try and rank them based on the four, right? The group as a collective, rather than 2x2, because, frankly, maybe that's unnecessary. Another proofy one. I can tell they're proofy just getting the, right there. Maybe this is where I need to start smelling stuff. There's a fruit juice quality. Apple juice, maybe? Ooh. And then as soon as I put it up closer, it's just like, woof. It's like a really, really tart or sour candy, and you get it in your mouth, and you're just like, and you're barely holding on. It's just melting out of your mouth, with tartness, with sour, whatever that is. This is what this feels like. It's not tart, it's not sour. It's a little tart, actually, but it's that same intensity of experience, right? But it's a nasal thing rather than a mouth thing. Hopefully, I'm making sense here. Yeah, there's definitely, there's a lot of, actually, kind of, now that I'm saying it, kind of sour-ish, tart green apple. That's really interesting. Shit, maybe that was my whole problem. Maybe I was putting my nose too far in. Is my nose too good? Is that the problem? Is my nose is too good to put it directly into the cup? Maybe this is B. I just went back to B thinking maybe I should hold it farther away from my face. B has the slightest hint of maybe like a toasty caramel. I think that's it. I think I'm holding the glass too close to my fucking face. What? Okay, so this is the big surprise of episode number 2 so far. Apparently, I've been putting the glasses way too close to my fucking face to really actually smell everything that's there. And now I'm upset because I feel like I've been missing things. On the nose, on B, there is actually a little bit of toasty caramel. So that's fun. Going back to C. For sure. That is sour apple candy. That's interesting. Okay, going in for a taste now. Ooh. What the fuck is that? What? That was a unique experience. It's definitely a strong apple note, but it is like a baked apple with a little bit of a candy apple thing. Is there such a thing as apple high proof bourbon? I'm certainly going to add some water to this one because this one is challenging. It kind of turns into maybe a little bit of a red fruit thing on the finish. That's interesting. The water hasn't helped. Oh, no, there's a weird note at the end. I got weird. There's a little bit of a rye spice in that for sure. It's not entirely a pleasant thing that I'm experiencing right now. There are pleasant elements to it. The apple part of what I'm experiencing is kind of nice. It's kind of the nicest part of it. It's a baked apple with like a candied apple peel, perhaps. I say green apple. It's maybe more generic apple. There's more character on the kind of apple, I think, on the nose. For sure, the nose is more of a tart and slightly sweet green apple. But then flavor-wise, there's a smoky, oaky thing on the finish. There's also a very distinct kind of bitter kind of thing happening at the back and sides of my tongue. Does that make it a tannin element? I think it does. Bitter finish, perhaps? Bitter finish. That sounds like someone who's from Finland who's had a bad experience at a tire dealership. Ooh, bubblegum but like bubblegum with acrid? Is that a burnt bubblegum nose? No, nose, yeah, nose, good lord. Wow. Burnt bubblegum note on the nose. There it is, I did it. Buttery asparagus. What would possess me to say buttery asparagus when I'm smelling a whiskey? I guess a whiskey that smells like buttered asparagus. Yeah, it's kind of buttered. There's a little bit of a sweet element there too, but that's kind of buttered asparagus. Okay, whatever. This is a weird one. We got a weird panel today. Okay, moving into the taste. I'm bracing for impact here. Has a lot of transformation. The beginning of that is quite... It's faint. It's also very unremarkable, and then begins to build flavors like a bricklayer building some kind of a small, unremarkable outdoor structure. I almost don't get any flavor until I swallow. That's strange. And then it's very faint, classic bourbon notes, vanilla, brown sugar / maybe into the caramel zone slightly. Then there's a little bit of an oaky character that develops after that. And then on the finish, let's see. Somehow this one has no finish. Let me take a sip of water. I'll try again. This one doesn't have a lot of proof on it. That one is, wow. So let me break this down if I can. This is episode 2. In the first episode, we had 4 very strong, very delicious, just absolute bangers. Had a real hard time ranking them. This time around, I've got one quite strong one, very hot, with a lot of evolution to flavor, but actually has a beginning and an end. And then I have 3 that kind of just stumble across the finish line. So blind tastings are interesting. They're not always satisfying. That's the conclusion to today's video. I haven't ranked them yet, but that is the conclusion. This one is it's very middle of the road, unremarkable. Okay, maybe there's a faint cherry kind of fruit on the nose, but God, it's faint. Once again into the very lackluster, very dreary brink. Here's the thing. It's not unpleasant, right? It's just not very noteworthy. I said a moment ago, I said middle of the road, and I think that's completely appropriate here. Unpleasant is like, nah, I don't want that again. Pleasant is like, ooh, I could drink that again. It's in between that. So, A, I'm ranking now, by the way. I've jumped into ranking because I'm gonna have an easy time with 1, and it's A. A is 1. Because it has things happening. There's elements of pleasantness. The spiciness was tamed significantly with the water. So if I'm right, if this is a rye, or even a high rye bourbon, I think it is high proof. It's good, but it needs some taming. Wow, holding the glass farther away from my face, game changer. What the fuck? That one has character right off the bat. 100%, that is first place. In light of the other 3, A is like mega ultra first. And so the 3 are just like... They're not all bangers in this 96 bottle blind. They're not. They're just not. Some of them are very good. There will be matchups that are highly contested. This is a highly contested matchup in a different way, in a way that, frankly, no one wants. Because, what the fuck is this? There are elements of both C and D that give them some element of remarkability, right? C has a baked and candied apple thing through and through that makes C really nice. D, on the other hand, there's a black tea thing. There's a little bit of a faint cherry thing. D is a tough one for me because I think there are flavors there. They're just very subtle. They're just, C is getting second place because those flavors are less subtle. Between D and B, don't go there. If this was a Barrel Hunters video, I would have already made a joke about the D and the B and C's happening in ways you do the math. Yeah. So I'm going to go D in third place, and I'm going to go B in fourth place. So let's get to the reveal. Reveal yourself! this is going to get more ridiculous every episode, just so you know. We're going to start in 4th place with B. B is 54. Car 54, where are you? If you know that, shout it out. 54 is, oh shit, what? It is the Still Austin Bottle and Bond High Rye Bourbon Whiskey. I'm flabbergasted. I believe this is a 2023 bottle. I would have easily put it in a 2nd place to other things kind of grouping. That's not how it's worked out. If I'm really tasting something and it's bad, I said gray sky on a Tuesday with brown sugar at the end. Fuck. So far, my 4th place groupings have Still Austin Bottle and Bond High Rye Bourbon and the Still Austin Cask Strength Rye Whiskey. I really enjoy Still Austin stuff. I really genuinely do. They're not paying me. No one is paying me for anything. Anyways, that's my 4th place. Still Austin Bottle and Bond High Rye Bourbon. Wow. Very, very, very surprising for that one. 3rd place is number... Shit. I believe that... I'm pretty sure that's 10. That's how I write a 1. Pretty sure that's 10. Wow. Larceny Small Batch. 90 proof. 92 proof, in fact. One of my longtime favorites. It's good stuff in cocktails. I can't really speak to it that much straight. I don't drink it a lot straight. There are some notes in there that I did like, but it didn't have enough strong character as a straight pour for me to rank it higher. In 2nd place, Stag Barrel Select. Holy shit. For Stag to be a baked apple and candied apple affair, pretty wild, pretty shocking. I thought Stag was those classic Blanton notes of dark cherry and all that. This Stag Barrel Select is 136.7 proof. That's quite hot. It didn't drink anywhere near that hot, in my opinion. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. No, it robs it of all the apple. I mean, it's there, but it's just like, it's a dull apple at that point. Wild Stag Barrel Proof is come in 2nd place behind number 8. Here it is. Hey, look at you. Hey, 8 is what I kind of thought it was. It's the Old Forester Single Barrel Strength Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey at 130 proof. So it was proofy. My go-tos aren't necessarily standouts, right? Like I like a go-to that is kind of middle of the road, because both of my 3rd and 4th place are both middle of the road from a blind tasting standpoint. But for my personal taste, when I'm drinking something, when I know what it is, they rank high. These other ones, the Stag Barrel Select in 2nd place. I think it is very tasty, but it's challenging. It's hot enough to be challenging. The Old Forester Rye Barrel Proof at 130 proof. When I've tasted it and it is good, I'm struggling, my tongue, the enunciation of things is poor, but the whiskey is very good. The problem is it's so hot. It needs a little bit of water. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Jim Drinks. It's been a wild one. Please like and subscribe. That helped me out a ton. A lot of what I thought were really low proof, really not very interesting drinks that turns out are actually quite high proof and like relatively hard to find. So, cheers. Woo! Boy howdy. It's hot, spicy apple.